I lost $100,000 when I was at the age of 27. In fact, that number could be as high as 140,000 because my wife chipped in also. Not many people know the story, and I actually got into this business that has gross margins of at least 75%, which means the product costs $1 to make and can sell for at least $4. Such a good business, correct? So how did I actually lose $100,000? This doesn't quite look like finance or financial advisory services, correct? What many people assume as my career is something like this: smooth sailing journey in financial advisory work with no mistakes and no distractions. So where does this ice cream thing actually come from? I'll get to that in a while. While I lost $100,000, I do think there's valuable lessons that make me who I am today. Before we get there, I'd like to introduce to you this ice cream place also, which is somewhere I recently went. An ice cream shop at Everton Park, and I'll just do a kind shout out to them because I thought I had a pretty good ice cream back there, and it got me to think back at my days of my own ice cream shop fondly. I bought a waffle and ice cream to share, and I actually paid with it using Chris Plus, who's today's sponsor. Let me show you how to use this powerful rewards app. Scan the Chris Play code, and then enter the final bill in. Miles that I used to pay off this bill was actually accumulated as a reward from my previous visit to Lao Beijing restaurant. Lao Beijing has 7 Chris Pay miles per $1 spent. That is actually pretty high. You would see that this bill has earned me 917 Chris Pay miles. That equates to $6+ as a reward. Pretty good, correct? As you can see, Chris Plus is a very powerful rewards app. And just to re-highlight some of Chris Plus's key benefits, they are the only miles accumulation mobile app in the market. Chris Plus allows you to stack rewards, and there's no min spend and no caps on the amounts of miles that you can earn. If you sign up today using my referral codes below, you'll get 750 miles absolutely free. That itself equates to $5. Back to the story of my journey. It will look like that on paper to anyone who tries to emulate step 4 straight away and conveniently forgets step 1, 2, and 3. Early progress in anything is usually invisible. It will look like that to anyone who doesn't understand it is failures that carry life's biggest lessons. People are embarrassed to talk about failures, but today I'm here to show you the real career path that I actually took started in Great Eastern when I was back then an undergraduate. So my total career is actually longer than on paper. I was hustling from a very early age because what happened to my father really motivated me to start working part-time at least. Back when I was much younger, I really didn't think I needed to start getting into the workforce too early. But my father's stroke situation reminded me again, retirement can be forced earlier than expected. Health may not always be there when you are retired. So that's why I started to push myself to learn to make money and move in this financial independence journey. I graduated from NTU and moved together with my boss back then to an independent FA firm. For a few years, it was quite good. We had new products to sell. Our team was getting larger and larger. But then, personally, I started to stagnate. Stagnation is this phase whereby you do not see any further progress really with the same effort. All the low-hanging fruits of progress were plucked already. It's like this invisible ceiling to reaching new heights. And how I approach this stagnation phase is, instead of using my spare time to further my craft in financial advisory work, I went to set up an ice cream shop. Yes, an ice cream shop. Simply because I wanted this idea of multiple sources of income. I have free times in the afternoons, correct? Not many customers can take meetings. So why not let me use that time to go and run an ice cream shop, hire people, and make side income money. Quite smart? Not quite so. What happened is that my sales in my advisory work started to suffer. The worst part is that I didn't know this decision was going to cost me all my savings that I've accumulated until then. That amount, as I mentioned, $100,000 at least. So why did I lose so much in the business? There are a few things, of course. The first is, for any business, there are overheads. Staff costs, cost of goods, electricity, etc. and etc. Quite clearly, without F&B experience, I underestimated all these overheads. Next, setup costs. I naively bought brand new furniture, brand new ice cream making machines, and actually spent money doing up a very nice renovation. thinking that I'll be there for 10 years, where in fact I could barely last for 10 months. Last but not least of the killers, rent costs. I remember making my usual check of $10,167 with GST included to SMRT, who was my landlord back then. On a month-to-month basis, I was losing at least $10,000, and that's why I quickly lost more than $100,000. I folded the ice cream business, and shortly after that, I moved to my next independent advisory firm, which is where I've been practicing my advisory work for the last 9 years. I had found a new mentor, a new team, and for a while it was looking good again. And what happens next? Yet another plateau. This is a good depiction of a typical success story. At every phase, we will all see our own plateaus. Growth will stagnate. Whichever industry you are in, you will also hit your own plateaus. The worst part is that some can even fall off a plateau, and that's where there's this test phase, which is a stage of temptation to quit. Quit to go where? Somewhere else. Grass is always greener on the other side. We will see advertisements that promise us something better. We will have friends that will try to lure us to what they are doing. Keep in mind again, in order to succeed, one will have to stay and break through this plateau. Don't mix it up with staying and plateauing all the way. Staying and finding ways to make a breakthrough, that's the actual path of success. People who quit to do something else too early will go on this loop and never find real success and real mastery. So when I plateaued for a second time, I started to try to find ways to break through. I tried to sell to corporates. Bad idea. I didn't have anyone to mentor me in a direction, and quite quickly that turned out to be a waste of time. I tried to start a website and a Facebook group with a friend. I roped him in to try to run this journey together, because there's a saying always, if you want to run fast, run alone. If you want to go far, go together. I kept that in mind. That's why I actively brought in someone to walk this journey. But what happens next? My friend actually left, and I was back alone. That was when the website has finally found some success. Small success. And what I did back then is I tried to rebuild a new team to work on it together. Very quickly again, that small success couldn't feed too many mouths, and I was back to the journey alone. And as you can guess, I next tried video media, which is YouTube, where you are viewing this today. And at the start, I can guarantee you, there were no views for each video. Even the 10th video had barely anything. Remember again, back then in 2019 in Singapore, there weren't too many finance channels. I had to persevere to find a way to break through this market, and I was posting on all forums and Facebook groups. If you have been the first 1,000 subscribers taking me all this journey, I'd like to say a big thank you again. Pretty nice story? Smash the like button, because I have nicer lessons to share with you. Hopefully it helps you make your own breakthrough, and I'll start by addressing my journey with my ice cream shop. This path has cost me $100,000 at least, and also a few years. It can be seen as that, or it can be seen as the reason why I stay focused today. Back then in that journey, I lost focus. I tried to find a different industry and I got burned. That lesson is very deep in me, because right now, there's so many new ideas, so many new projects that I can try. But I stay focused on my advisory work and on YouTube. The second lesson from my failed ice cream business is that I now appreciate my own financial advisory business a lot more. People who work in service industry don't understand overheads, don't understand rent costs. It is far better to have zero sales than to have a negative 10,000 each month simply because of rent. That lesson is deeply entrenched in my mind, and that's why I'll likely stay as an advisor for many years to come. Next, our YouTube channel here is doing well, and it has helped me become one of Singapore's best known advisors. But I'd like to firstly draw your attention back to my website, DSU Parents' small success. Is there any use of it putting it on this map? Absolutely yes. When I think back on the journey, it was the first time that I found you, someone who appreciated what I shared. And the website was fundamentally very important because it gave me my own mental breakthrough that I can find a customer online for my financial advisory work. You know, it's a bit like drilling water. If you don't drill deep enough, you always think there's only soil and dirt. But once you hit that freshwater well right at the very bottom, that is where the tap would finally flow. Small successes are the foundation to big successes. Hopefully you like my sharing, smash the like button, and check out this video on how I actually earn more than $200,000 a year. And if you have seen that, check out this, which is actually from our sponsor today, Chris Plus. I have a full tutorial on it. Check them out, and I'll see you in these videos. Take care and goodbye.